First one, give all praises, glory, and honor to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash.
God will honor the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone that rule well, and blessings to the elect. They are, wherever they scattered. Alright, on today's lesson, we're going to concentrate on the situation between Iran and Israel, which basically Israel started it, and they called it a, what was they say?
They said preemptive attack.
Yeah, a preemptive attack, basically to destroy their nuclear. Now let's just say that they actually did destroy their nuclear program and stuff like that. If that happened, all right, there will be nuclear waste everywhere in that area. And it won't be just in that area because the wind would blow, right? And then Iran is next to how many other different nations? Iraq, Turkey's not far from there. So this could have killed millions of people. So number one, it's unjustifiable, and it's just double on this devil. But it doesn't mean that we're at the end yet, because at the end of the day, there's certain things that have to come before we have the Third World War. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, just a quick one on point.
Yeah.
You said it's double speak from this devil. What you've got to remember is that the serpent's got a forked tongue. And oftentimes before the war physically happens, you have wars with words. Because he knows very well how to manipulate the minds of people.
Propaganda.
There you go. So him saying it was an unprovoked attack, well, you could interchange that word with, so they said preemptive.
Preemptive, yeah.
Interchange that word with unprovoked. And you get a whole different reading of the situation, which is more in line with truth, because as they said, they claim that Iran had weapons of mass destruction.
Right. Yeah.
And they used the same tactic in 2003 when they used the war on terror to go into Iraq. They claimed that there was weapons of mass destruction there, that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. To this day, they ain't. So it's the same game plan that he's trying to rinse and repeat 20 years.
Yeah, because that preemptive, isn't it? It's just a fancy word for an excuse to do what you want to do at the end of the day. You know, like you said, with the whole Iraq thing, you know, what else do they use? Plausible deniability.
Yeah.
You know, these are the phrases that they use, you know, in order for them to look like they're keeping within the ramification, within the realm. What's lawful.
Lawful,
But
yeah.
it's really not.
Precept.
Yeah, 100%.
Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
Yeah.
but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's it. And when you read her, the first thing that comes to mind is when the so-called white man came over America. His words were smoother than butter to the Reubenites, who are the Seminole Indians, and the Gadites. And unfortunately, the Gadites, peace treaties, 400. And this devil broke every single one of them, man. Every single one of them. That's why the tribe of Reuben, the Seminole Indians, they never made one pact with this devil. Because they looked at how they were treating God. And now we don't want any, you know, we don't want any part of this devil.
Right. Yeah, I've got a quick one for that.
You know, in Seminole, I think it means runaway, man.
This is John 10 and 10. It says, the thief cometh not but to steal and to destroy.
Yep.
I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. You have a shot.
That's right. And that abundance is in the kingdom. Alright, but there has to be, there's step prophecies that have to come, alright, before we're going to have this Third World War. Because we are going to have a Third War, but there's prophecies that have to come first. The best place to start is Matthew 24, and start from verse 3. Because when Yahushua was on the sea with the disciples, they asked him about all this. They said, what's going to be a sign of you coming back? Alright. So on the news, they had people, you know, like on Piers Morgan, Israel could start World War III. Some make Iran get a nuclear weapon, this, that, and the other. But if you know the prophecies, you know that that's not going to come until later.
Right.
Right? Here we go.
24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?
Yeah, the end of this world, man. The end of this age, man. All right, because you have empires, they rise and they fall.
Right.
You know, even Stevie Wonder can see that this empire's falling, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Stevie Wonder, but you niggas don't. All right, that's why we have to explain it to them very slowly as well, man. All right, because a lot of our people, they're slow in the head because of Esau's food.
Yeah.
It's true.
yeah,
His food is true.
And his propaganda.
And his propaganda.
Philosophies,
His
yeah.
philosophies.
Which are the fruits.
Yeah,
of the tree,
everything,
yeah.
man.
Mm.
Yes, exactly. See?
Matthew 24:4.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Mm-hmm.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
See, so there's going to be deception on this earth the last days. And like the brother said, one of the deceptions that we remember was weapons of mass destruction, man. Where was that? And there's an interview with Saddam Hussein before they invaded it, him saying that we got rid of all that stuff. And basically they didn't care about it.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't care about that, really. The real reason why they destroyed Iraq was because he was selling his oil in euros, man. And he wasn't selling it in dollars no more.
Petrol dollar.
Yeah, the petrol dollar, which would destroy their currency.
Yeah.
Just because of that and other little things, they sanctioned Iraq, which made them weaker, and then they pounced and destroyed the country. And that's what they're trying to do with Iran.
Exactly. I was going to say
Yeah.
exactly what they're trying to get into Iran, man. That's on the list. It's on the hit list. It's on that World Bank hit list.
Yeah.
That's the next one. They need to go and install one of them. We did it in Libya,
Syria. as well now.
Syria.
Oh yeah, yeah as well because they supply about 20% of the Iran supplies about 20% of the oil. So they're well wealthy in
Yeah.
those enriched fossil fuels and oil stuff
Yeah.
like that. So can I read this precept?
Yeah, go on.
This is Revelation 11 and 14 says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
What was that? Put it read again.
Revelation chapters 11 and verses.
Yeah.
The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Beautiful. You can break it.
Yes, so second woe is past. Second World War it began in 1939 with the bombing of Pearl Harbor up to about 1945.
Yep.
So that was with, you had bombs taking place, but not nuclear weapons.
Yeah, not
Now, there's more at stake. There's more. Lord willing, I'll get through some of the. We're going to go through some of the
Yeah.
capabilities of Russia and
Iran.
US as well, and Iran. Yeah, because if I could just read this news article, when you opened up, you mentioned this, and I just tapped it in Google. It says, "Who started the world war between Israel and Iran?" Right, so propaganda, but this is what's on the headline news.
Who started it?
On the 12th of June 2025, the IAEA passed a resolution drafted in the United Kingdom, France and Germany that declared Iran non-compliant with its nuclear obligations. Israel began the strike the following day. That would have been the 13th of June.
That was hang on. So because they and let's remember this.
Oh, sorry. Let's go.
It's like Israel has weapons as well. They got nuclear weapons. I actually blew the lid on it. It was an Israeli guy. You know what they did to him? They kidnapped him. Alright, they put him in prison, and when he went to court, they wired his mouth shut so he can't speak.
Wow.
And he's still a prisoner to this day. Said they had over 80 nuclear warheads. So the Western countries can have nuclear weapons, but Iran can't.
Right.
That's hypocrisy, man.
It is.
In the worst way.
Of the highest degree, man.
Esau don't play fair.
Yeah, he doesn't play fair, you know. I continue. It's like oh yeah, he wants.
Mind to say something about Bakasha. You read the article. You said they went in on the 13th of June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Friday, the 13th.
Oh
So
yeah, it was.
That's a Masonic day.
So it's on a date, yeah. Yeah, because this devil is into numerology, man.